really been much more even than I think anyone expected.
Absolutely. When you look across the board at a number of attacks, the number of kills, 44 kills for Penn State, 42 for Texas A&M. When you look at their hitting percentage, though, is where you see the difference, and that means that there's more errors being committed by Texas A&M.
Yeah, Penn State hitting 337 on the match. Texas A&M only hitting 273. Still good numbers. The digs are right there. Penn State with 35, A&M with 34. So it's really just going to be a matter of who makes the least amount of mistakes.
Caitlin Blake, 6 kills for her, 4 blocks on this one. And then there's the star of Penn State right now, Simone Lee, having a great game for the senior, 17 kills and 2 digs along with an ace.
And we talked to Coach Rose before the game, and he said she wasn't great last night against Stanford. She was really quiet, didn't have a great game, but man, has she turned it on today. Holland Hands for Texas A&M, the sophomore, she's got 14 kills on the day, hitting 212, and her aces have been a huge part of Texas A&M's success. She's got 3 service aces on the day as well.
Texas A&M will start this one off by serving. Lee is dug up by A&M. A&M is there for the block. Abby Dietering made contact with the net as she jumped up to swing at that ball.
Weiskircher with a smart move. She took the first ball and she set it up perfectly for Dietering. They're going to say that she swung into the net. No argument from Dietering, so a good call there by the refs.
Washington around the backside of the center, and they love that play when it's on.
That slide looks really, really good from Haley Washington. She's able to get so high because her approach gives her a little bit more room to create power when she goes behind the setter, and therefore she's able to go over the block, hitting on top of the hands.
Powerful front row in for Penn State now. Another low set from Camille Connor to Blake. Lee sends it over, though. Gonna go back to Kiara McGee, and that one came off of her face and came back over. Then Nia Reed sends it back to the Aggies. Short set. Sanders sends it over for the Aggies. This one is going to be dug, but it's going to be out of bounds. And what a crazy rally that was. And that ball did actually go off Kiara McGee's face, I think, on that pitch.
It did. So McGee hit it into the block. It came immediately off the block, hit her right in the forehead, and went back onto Penn State's side. But, hey, heads up, literally, play by both teams to keep playing and keep going with that. Penn State with the point.
A&M finding that middle part of the court, and before, as that play was going, you heard the A&M crowd giving Coach Rhodes a little bit of a hard time. And when you come into this environment in College Station, it's a very unique place to play.
And he told us that's why he wanted to come to College Station. He had heard such good things about the atmosphere.
Well, they're getting a lot of it tonight, and Simone Lee uses the touch and finds it's good timing on her part.
When you hit the ball as hard as Simone Lee does, it opens up other options for you. You know, other teams are kind of in their heels. They're waiting for that really powerful swing. So when you have a perfect set, instead of unloading on it, put a nice little tip touch on it, just like she did in that last set. And it's going to be very hard to defend, which it was for Texas A&M. They're wiping up some sweat. These girls are working hard today, let me tell you.
It is.
It has been a fight.
There's the crowd of students who came out to support Texas A&M here, and a pretty good contingent from Penn State traveled down here as well. Big swing from Caitlin Blake, and that gets the crowd excited for Texas A&M.
This was a beautiful pass by Texas A&M, setting it up perfectly for Camille Connor. You saw Haley Washington follow Blake, but she was able to get around her with a nice hard swing.
Big swing from Haley Washington.
We're going to see a new middle for Texas A&M. Number 22, Morgan Davis, is in the game for the Aggies instead of McKenna Patterson. She is also a freshman. She is the tallest on the team, listed at 6'4". Again, the freshman from Orlando, Florida. So keep an eye on 22, Morgan Davis.
Patterson not as effective as Coach Corbelli wanted her to be, so why not try another player? But on that one, she does a good job of sticking with that play. 4-4 now here in set number 4. A&M would love to win this one and send it to 5. Anytime you could do that against a top-ranked team is always a good thing. Penn State, however, wants to end this right here on this set. Allie Franti with the kill, her 10th.
Allie Franti, it's kind of like we talk about her a whole lot, and then we don't talk about her for a while. And then you hear her name all of a sudden again, and she really kind of turns it on when Penn State needs her the most. And that's so important to be able to kind of create that momentum when your team needs it. And Allie Franti does a really nice job of that.
She's also quietly got 10 digs in this game, and A&M continues to struggle on serve receive, though.
This is a really nice serve by the setter, Weiskircher, who Coach Rose told us is probably one of his best servers on the team. She's able to hit those seams, and that float is so tough to read.
Timing off between Connor and Davis for Texas A&M.
I think Davis was thinking tip all the way. You could tell she wasn't going to take a swing at that ball, and she had the right idea. She just didn't put enough touch on it.
Point Texas A&M on the missed serve. D-Mission Davis, highly touted recruit from Orlando, Florida, coming in as a freshman for the Aggies, as they needed help in the middle with the graduation of Jazz Babers. So they will look to see if Patterson or Davis or somebody else will fill that role. Big swing there from Penn State. Thielen getting in on her 4th kill.
This is another gorgeous slide run for Penn State. This time Thielen, she's able to reach and grab that ball at the peak of her swing, puts it right into the split and into the seam of the defense. A really well-positioned hit.
McGee goes over the block. Lee finds where nobody else is, and A&M's block has not been able to be effective against Simone Lee.
You can see Lee just grabbing onto her setter, Weiskircher. She is loving the sets that she's getting right now.
Love to see the emotion coming from these teams. Hands, and there's a block from Simone Lee, but he's going to call her.
Even Lee looked confused. That ball went straight down, and no one knew what side
it was on. It was on Penn State's side.
No one had any idea what side of the court that ball was on because it went straight down, but it was on Penn State's side. So a point for Texas A&M.
Hard to tell. Lee going to come out of the back row. A&M sends it right back over. Thielen is blocked at the net. So Texas A&M hanging in there with the block, and we thought Penn State would really be the blocking team, and they are, but A&M has hung right there with them in that category.
Texas A&M out-blocking Penn State with this one. They're now up 8-7, and another really good setup by Blake and Connor there in the middle. So even when Penn State comes away with a really big hit and a really hard swing, A&M has been answering right back with the block.
And if we've learned anything from this match today, a 2-point lead early on does not mean anything. These two teams have just traded points this entire match, pretty much. A dump there from Weiskircher, and Caitlin Blake again, and she's upset with herself because she made the same error we saw her make 2 sets ago.
She's really struggling with those dumps by Weiskircher and Deering, and I'm not sure if that's a play that Texas A&M wants her to make, if they want her to grab that ball from the setter, but we've seen it twice now today, and they've both been mistakes. They've both been errors.
McGee off the block for the kill, and Dietering right there, and that block didn't seem to really kind of come together.
There was a little bit of a split right between Dietering, Washington. Dietering trying to reach back in there, but McGee has so much height, so much vertical that she was able to go over that block.
Short serve by A&M, and then Texas A&M can't handle the ball that comes back over.
Well, Simone Lee just did such a great job of taking that out-of-system ball and putting it in the right spot. Sometimes you're expecting a free ball or an easier ball, and you get a little relaxed, and Lee just put it in the perfect seam.
Lee now 21 kills, 10 more than she had against Stanford last night. And, you could argue, well, Stanford may have just really shut her down. A&M not able to repeat that here tonight. And again, she's just going over any sort of block that A&M is trying to put in.
She's getting stronger as this match progresses. She just flew. I don't have the numbers on her vertical, but they're out of the gym. They are absolutely out of the gym. She crushed that ball down.
Such a fun player to watch. McGee goes up for the swing. Out to Lee again. This time she takes care of it. A&M's going to get up with that pancake. Washington is blocked, and that one lands down in the court. And A&M loves to celebrate that kind of point.
I almost thought that Dietering would go back to Lee on that third set. When you've got someone hitting as well as Lee, you just want to keep feeding her, keep feeding her. She decided to go to Washington. Texas A&M doing a nice job of holding that block.
Gabby Litwin back in to serve for Texas A&M. Goes to Lee. She handles it perfect. Washington goes over the block, trying to get it in the court, but her positioning is off.
And that's what you have to do to slow Lee down a little bit. You've got to serve to her, make her pass before she can get outside. She had a good pass, but they went to a different hitter.
Franti took that one. Short to Caitlin Blake, and the timing was perfect on that one for the Aggies.
Penn State tried to go back to the slide with Washington. She didn't have success again. Texas A&M was able to play the ball. A perfect set and connection between Camille Connor and Caitlin Blake.
8th kill of the match for Blake. Franti takes this one, and that was such a tight pass. Great job by, Dietering on that set.
Yeah, a really nice set by Abby Dietering. Again, as a middle, you have to trust that your setter is going to get you the ball. And Nia Reed was up in the air at the perfect time. She trusted Dietering and was able to get a good swing on it.
Play together as long as these players have. That trust is there, and that's a good thing to see. And there's a big block from Washington, her 5th of this game.
And Nia Reed, when she does something well on offense or defense, it immediately translates to the next play. She had a nice swing the play before. On that ball, she was able to get up there, create a great block.
Tight pass. Connor sets it up. The fans hollering for over on that one. Connor wasn't allowed to take it, but the referee did not call it. But Penn State is up by 4 here, 15-11 in set number 4 over Texas A&M here from College Station.
My 5-alarm chili makes game days better. You mean I know it, but FanDuel does too. For new players, there are beginner-only contests with real prizes to help you learn the ropes. And since you pick a new team every week, you're never sidelined with injuries or draft busts. Play for as little as $1 or compete for a share of $1 million. Or start a private contest to play against your friends. FanDuel, it's the 5-alarm chili your daily fantasy game's been waiting for.
Try FanDuel today for free. No deposit required. Use promo code UNDRAFT for a free shot at $10,000 in cash prizes.
If you or a loved one were exposed to Roundup weed killer and were later diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Glyphosate, the primary ingredient in Roundup weed killer, was recently designated a probable human carcinogen by the World Health Organization. Call right now.
Call 800-499-9812. That's 800-499-9812.
From Reed Arena in College Station, this one continues to be a tight match. Penn State up by 4 here in set number 4. And here's taking a look at what Penn State's leaders are doing in terms of everything that's giving them the lead right now.
Well, that girl right there, number 22, Simone Lee with 22 kills to match her number. I don't think she wants to stay there, though. I think she's going to want to add a few more to that total. She's got 2 digs, and then Haley Washington with 11 and Franti with 10 kills. So spread out, even though Lee is far beyond the others. All of those Penn State seniors are the ones that you're really looking at.
Blake again out of the middle, and a lot of success here lately with Caitlin Blake out of that middle position.
Texas A&M really needed that timeout. Penn State had really gone on a bit of a run and some weird plays, some just messy volleyball. That is what Texas A&M wants to see right there.
Penn State, though, you got to know that here they come. Out of the back row, Francie, or a back set, I should say, off the net. Free ball coming for Penn State. Back out to Franny. Holland Hands gets another swing, and just like that, she's got 17 kills in this match.
And I am super impressed with Caitlin Blake's defense.
Yep.
She has made some very, very good digs in the back row for Texas A&M, keeping these rallies alive.
Got 7 digs in this match. Simone Lee out of the back row. Such a hard hit ball. Gabby Litwin runs it down, though, for Texas A&M. And then it gets sent over. And here comes Penn State. Allie Franti takes advantage of it. And the hustle that we are seeing from both of these teams tonight is part of what is making this match so much fun.
You're going to see a red mark on Morgan Davis's forehead. That's where Simone Lee just pounded the ball into the block, and it flew off of her head. Texas A&M did a great job of tracking it down, but Penn State able to finish the point, and they're up by 3.
Haley Washington with a back set to Allie Franti. Holland Hands for Texas A&M, and another hard swing from the sophomore.
Penn State's block just a little early, and you can see Hands able to make the adjustment, see the inside part of that block, and go right around Thielen.
Short serve here from Sanders. Thielen takes it out of the back row. Sanders, Lee comes, though, I should say, with another big swing, and I just can't get over how powerful of a hitter she is anywhere you put her on the court.
She is so impressive from the back row, and you've got to give credit to her setters,
yes,
because that's a hard set to make. You're used to just setting right along the net. You've got to put that ball not only in the perfect position, but at the perfect speed, because she's taking off before you're setting it, and it's a really gorgeous play by Penn State.
Now she's in the back row playing defense. A&M goes off the block, high off the hands for the point, and A&M trying to keep this match close. They are within 2 here in set number 4.
Holland Hands, 19 kills on the day. She'll go to the back row, but we've seen, just like we were talking about Lee in the back row for Penn State, Holland Hands will hit out of the back row as well.
Holland Hands' career high is 20 kills, so she's one away from meeting that mark. And she's also got now 4 aces, oh, by the way, on the match.
You always wonder how younger players are going to show up in big matches like this. And Holland Hands, only a sophomore, has proven that she does not fear anyone or any team.
Well, if you watch A&M as a last year, you saw that from her as a freshman. I mean,
absolutely.
No fear from her. And that's what you need. And you know, you look at the other side of the court, you're facing these Penn State seniors who are so good and so experienced, and there's no fear from anyone on Texas A&M side. Holland Hands almost got another favor from the net, but that one comes back on this side. So Penn State's lead back up to 2 now here in set number 4. Big swing there, and Camille Connor continues to use that second hit swing to her advantage here tonight. And, you know, she's gotten now 10 kills, pretty much all off that same move for Texas A&M when she's in the front row.
And it was going to be interesting because it wasn't working at the beginning of the match. And you know what, Casey? She did not go away from it. She kept trying, and now she's finally found her rhythm.
Nice pass from Penn State. Simone Lee is dug by the Aggies. They're going to work to get this one over, and they do. Here comes Penn State again. Lee goes into the block of Texas A&M, and what some, I mean, if you're Penn State, you just keep going to her.
Absolutely.
Why not? Yes.
Absolutely. She keeps getting higher and higher. If Caitlin Blake had just been a little bit closer to the net and sealed it off, that would have been an absolutely impressive block by Texas A&M, but Lee, just too much power.
Again, Camille Connor the second ball swing, and she is not only getting points off of that, but she is getting emotion out of the Texas A&M team and sending momentum back to their side. Even though they're down by 1 point, you can feel the momentum really on Texas A&M sides right now. And a lot of that is because it's a home match for the Aggies. The atmosphere in here is electric right now. Short set, but Haley Washington got back over there after attempting to run a play on this side.
This is where that senior experience
So
comes
quick.
in. Haley Washington runs the slide. Watch how quickly she gets back to her spot and is able to block and force that ball back over. That is a great play.
Free ball coming for Penn State. Overpass. Blake goes up with it, and good placement on that free ball by Holland Hands.
She sends it right into the front row where she knows Lee is. Lee bails, and so Kendall White has to come in and get it, and it's a bad pass by the libero.
Gonna go to Washington again off the slide, and it continues to work for Penn State.
Haley Washington is on a roll, and right now you're feeling it, and as soon as Lee goes into the back row, which we know she'll still swing out of the back row, but as she goes to the back row, you've got Washington, who's on fire right now in the front row for Penn State.
Gonna give Lee a break. Lenny Pierce will come in and serve for Lee.
And we see this happen, especially with the serve. Pierce is a really good server, and we'll most likely see Lee come back into the back row if Pierce gets a bad pass or they just want another offensive option.
Hands. Deep corner dug by Pierce in the back row. Short to Blake. Franti has to come way in to send that one over. Hands goes between the block for the point, and a lot of running all over the court really by both sides, both teams here at this point in the match.
Both outsides are being tested right now by hitting these out-of-system balls. Something that Holland Hands and Allie Franti both do a good job of, but especially Hands. We see Simone Lee come back into the game now for Penn State, so watch for her in the back row. Right on cue.
White had a perfect pass on that one, and then Simone Lee comes in. Her career high in kills is 30. I don't know if we'll see her get that if Penn State wins this match in this set, but if this match goes to 5 games,
she's at 25,
I very well think that we could see her reach that, even with just 15 points in that second set. But first, A&M's got to get it there, and Penn State wants to take advantage here, get some momentum back on their side. Tried to set Lee. Hands for Texas A&M, right up the middle. It's Simone Lee who cannot handle the hard hit ball from Texas A&M.
Well, Texas A&M took advantage of a free ball because Haley Washington tried to set Lee. Holland Hands with only one blocker in front of her, and she goes at Lee knowing she's probably not the better of defenders in the back row for Penn State.
There she is with a tip out of the back row this time. Hands. And another very hard hit ball from Texas A&M. And this match is tied again here at 22 in the fourth set.
And you can see the emotion. Another out-of-system ball. Amy Nettles is racking up the assists right now. She's got 6 on the day, and I bet all 6 of those have gone to Holland Hands on the outside.
Holland Hands got those last 2 points, and, you know, we've said her name so much tonight, but Simone Lee, you cannot say enough about what she's been able to do for Penn State here in this match against Texas A&M.
She is so impressive and so much fun to watch. She gets it done in the front row and the back row. Look at her fly on these back row attacks, and then from the front. She is so powerful, and this is why she was an All-American last year, because she has done just... It's so impressive. I don't even know what words can explain. And I feel lucky enough to be here in person to watch her play, because I don't feel like TV does it justice.
Absolutely, it doesn't. You can't see the angles that we can see when it's on TV. But she's got 25 kills. Again, her career high is 30, so we'll see if Penn State's able to get her to that point. Right now, this match is knotted up at 22. Both of these teams come into this match undefeated. Penn State, we've mentioned it earlier in this match, took care of number 1 ranked Stanford here last night in 4 sets. And so we talked about, okay, are they tired? This is early in the season. Are they conditioned enough? Are both teams conditioned enough to go into this match like this one. So far, we're not seeing any signs of anybody tiring out here.
I think there's too much momentum. I think there's too much adrenaline right now. They'll feel tired after the game. Give them an hour after the game. They'll all be zonked out for sure. But I think right now they are just running on pure adrenaline. That's also, though, where the decision-making and making, the right shot selection comes into play.
Going to get a double hit call on that one, or into the net. No, yeah, into the net. So she thought they were going to call double, but she actually, that momentum of that pass was too much, and Dietering cannot handle it. So A&M now 2 points away from sending this match to a 5th set. Sanders goes long on the serve.
That's an aggressive serve. If you give Penn State too easy of a serve, they're just going to slam it right back down your throat. So I don't think that they're going to be upset with Sanders for missing that serve, even though it was deep and you're late in the game. You've got to take some risks if you want the reward.
23 all. Abby Dietering, and Texas A&M comes with the pass on the serve receive on the money, but then Abby Dietering finishes the play for Penn State.
She's standing and jumping. She doesn't even take an approach, and she's able to just force that ball through the block. A&M's got to put a better block up in that situation. They know there's only one place that Penn State can go, and they were just a little loose, didn't quite close it enough.
So now this is the point in the match when you look at, okay, we are point by point. Both teams still have one timeout. Coach Corbelli just took one for Texas A&M, one of her two. So if you're Texas A&M, when you come back out of this timeout, you're right now talking about, okay, who's where on this court and what we got to take each one of these, and Penn State too, 1 point at a time.
Looking at leaders for Texas A&M, it's kind of like Penn State. They have Lee. Well, Texas A&M has hands at the top, and then it's really spread out. McGee, Connor, and Blake have all had great games tonight. Something interesting, Casey, Caitlin Blake has been in the game the entire time, and she is suffering from somewhat of an injury. She had surgery over the spring, and Coach Corbelli told us at the beginning of the season she wasn't sure if she would make it through a whole match. One of the reasons they were really focused on making Patterson and Davis better faster because they are freshmen. But Caitlin Blake, they know they cannot do this without her, and they have left her in for this entire match.
And I've been watching her, and she hasn't shown too many signs of being in pain or anything here in this match. So that's one of those things you definitely keep an eye on when you know that you have a lingering injury, and you know the Texas A&M coaches are watching her carefully, because what you don't want to do is, yes, you want to win this match, but you don't want to sacrifice a player, and they're watching it very carefully and taking good care of her to make sure that she's going to be okay here for Texas A&M. Meanwhile, match point here for Penn State. Hand says not yet. Tie ball game at 24.
And if you're Penn State, you know it's going to hands, and they're out there on her, set up perfectly on the block. That shows you how skilled this young lady is to be able to hit around that block, one of the best in the country at a point in the game.
Well, now she serves, and her serve is also very good. White handles it perfect. Dietering. Camille Connor picks a moment in this match, and Texas A&M now goes to set point, trying to send this one, to set point, trying to send this one to a set 5.
An absolutely incredible decision by the setter, the freshman setter. We can't say it enough. This is a freshman right now on the court for Texas A&M, and she is keeping that composure. And someone else that's keeping composure is Holland Hands, who's going to be serving for Texas A&M coming out of this timeout.
Good time for a timeout by Penn State, and that will be their last timeout. Penn State, A&M won the first set, just to reset where we are. A&M won the first set 26-24. Penn State then came back, won the second set 25-19, the third set 25-23, and now A&M is at set point 25-24 here in set number 4.
And you can't say that Penn State isn't playing well. Simone Lee has 25 kills, Haley Washington with 12. This is not what anyone expected, I think, Casey, but Texas A&M has come out looking like a team. Well, we didn't know what to expect because, honestly, last weekend, Sam Houston State and Virginia Commonwealth University A&M was superior. And when we talked to Coach Russ Rose for Penn State, he said, well, yeah, we've seen a little bit of film on them, but they were superior to the teams they were playing, so we really don't know what to expect. But I don't think he was expecting this.
I think A&M has done such a great job of utilizing their talents in the best way they can, using hands out of the back row, really using her, and they're playing well. You know, when you have a team that's passing, both teams didn't pass great in the first set, or quite frankly the second set, but in these last two sets, we've seen not only serve receive, but digging as well really take a step up, and both teams have taken advantage of it. So now A&M with serve here to send this one to a fifth set here from College Station. By Texas A&M, and we are going to a fifth set here in College Station.
And you can see the momentum.